Football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes tickets to Michigan or USC, plus Akron or Houston Christian, and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker Football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red!
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contests, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carricker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carricker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carricker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carricker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carricker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carricker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. As always, check out all things The Ticket at theticketfm.com. Wherever you get your social medias, YouTube, podcast platforms, Amazon Prime, television, or turn the radio dial simply to 93.7. I'm not going to lie, Jake. It feels kind of weird to be back in studio. It's almost like I got used to going to Blur Friday, Monday, Tuesday. It kind of became my new home, it felt like. Well, you've been here, actually. What's it feel like for you to be back in studio? But you've been here. For me, the drive was a little bit shorter, but it feels good to be home nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to go out to Blur, and College World Series is fantastic. Obviously, now we know the finals is set up, but yeah, I mean, I just love going out there. They call it the greatest show on dirt. And if you look forward to baseball, that's what it became. And then that LSU-Arkansas game last night lived up to everything you could ever expect for it. So just fantastic stuff out there.
Okay. So we got like I got a whole thing full of notes here. Like, again, a loaded show. So I'm just going to run down the list real quick. We are going to kick it off with that LSU-Arkansas game. My kids sat there in astonishment of what happened those last few innings. It was quite entertaining. If you missed it, we will go through it real quick. The NBA Finals, Game 6 tonight. We're going to dive into that. All right, my wife turns 40 on Monday. She's okay that I share that publicly. So I'm like, oh, what do I get her? What do I get her for? Like, that's a big one, you know? And then my daughter's soccer team is in Kansas City, playing at regionals. They won the state championship here in Nebraska, playing at regionals. They do well there. They can play in nationals in Florida. My wife's in Kansas City, hopefully for the entire week. The longer they're there, the more means the more they've won for her birthday. So I'm like, all right, now they're in Kansas City. So now what do I do? She went skydiving yesterday. So we will talk about my wife jumping out of a perfectly good airplane yesterday. She did.
Wow.
For the second time, I might add. The second time. My kids were in awe. They were not there, obviously, the first time. Same. It was a tandem skydive. So you're strapped with somebody who knows what they're doing. Same guy, Bill Lamont. All right, same weeping water, same airport, same airplane, and same pilot who about dumped me out of the plane the first time. But we're going to come back to that. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Matt Rhule praises Dylan Raiola. Now, this goes back a few days. All right. This goes back a few days, but I do think it is worth discussing. There's a whole bunch of Husker news to talk about. Jordan Westerkamp is going to join us at 12:45. College football playoff insanity. The Big Ten and the SEC are fighting right now. They do not agree on a format. I think we always kind of envision this world where the Big Ten and the SEC were on the same page. Would everybody else get on the same page? No. Right now, they're fighting with each other about how the formats are going to look, about how certain things are going to look, about how strength of schedule is to be determined, which is a gigantic deal because they want to emphasize strength of schedule more going forward. All right, SHEDEUR Sanders went just a smidge over the speed limit. Just a smidge. All right. Let me look at Adam Schefter here. He's put this out yesterday. 101. He doesn't have the speed limit actually listed, but I'm going to guess it was below 101 where he was going.
It was at 60.
60. That's just a smidge over.
Yeah.
Going 101. All right, but let's kick it off. The Loaded Show, the Adam Carricker Show. You know what you're going to get. Unique insight and bridled honesty. And producer Jake and I are going to have a whole lot of fun in the process. You're going to hear Husker sports, college football, and sports in general. Let's talk about this LSU-Arkansas game from last night and the upcoming matchup, the national championship best-of-3 series, LSU versus Coastal Carolina. So I take it you watched the game last night. What was your takeaway? Because mine was like, okay, I want to say this respectfully, but I'm going to say this honestly. These guys are way better at baseball than I ever was. They're playing at a higher level. They're in the College World Series. The pressure is immense. Like LSU wins, they're going to the national championship. Arkansas wins, then they get another chance. They have to beat LSU again, and then they're going to national championship. These are bitter SEC rivals. LSU had already beaten Arkansas earlier in the College World Series. Immense pressure. But the amount of insanely bad defense was highly entertaining, and equally jaw-dropping. My 9-year-old, Dakota, who plays baseball with the boys, does very, very well. In fact, the coach just asked me, is she going to come back and play with us next year? And I was like, yeah, it's the plan. He's like, good. So I took that as a good sign. I think they're all kind of waiting for the day when she does or doesn't go to softball. We'll hit that down the road. The big question was baseball versus soccer this year. She chose baseball. Clearly heads and tails, loves baseball. And actually, was it the Omaha Storm Chasers game last summer? Jordy Ball and I did the 7th inning stretch. For some reason, they asked me to sing. She sang wonderfully. I sang loudly. But we hung out throughout the game, and she met Dakota. We were telling her she's going to play baseball. What are your thoughts on this for a girl? She goes, she actually had a teammate that played baseball all the way through high school and then went and played softball at Oklahoma. So anyways, we'll come to that at a later date. But I'm sitting next to her, and I kind of nudge her. I'm like, I feel like I'm watching 9U baseball. She goes, Dad, like, how dare you? But with all due respect, these guys are exponentially better than I am. They are so much pressure in that moment. Highly entertaining. Oh, my goodness. Maybe the most entertaining college baseball game I've seen all year. Definitely top 2, if not 3, or number 1. Oh, the defense was insane, starting with so many things. Okay, the double play that never was. The LSU first baseman, yeah, he had to stretch to get it. So the bases are loaded. Arkansas hits the ball to the third baseman. Throw it to second, get the out, going to throw to first to roll the double play. And the first baseman, I'm a former first baseman. I know you have to do digs and everything else, and it's not easy. This was no dig. He just had to stretch out, catch it, get low, and he just kind of got in an awkward angle and missed it. And Arkansas scored not 1 but 2 runs to go from down 2-1 to up 3-2. What were your thoughts when you watched that particular play?
Well, again, just to kind of the whole topic altogether is it does kind of remind you that this is college baseball, and these are 2 of the top 5 teams within it, but that's kind of part of college baseball. Yep. So there's a little bit more room for errors, literally, if you will. So that's kind of what, and so some of these plays, like that play specifically too, these were huge plays in the 8th and 9th inning. And so it's just, I think to a degree it does, it can make you kind of look at it and think, is this the best that they've gotten? This is the top of the SEC, 2 teams that are top 5 teams all year round. And so it just kind of does remind you of the level you're watching. But again, it does make it a little bit more unpredictable. And I will mention, pros do it too. We all know Bill Buckner, the story of Bill Buckner. So, I mean, this can happen.
Says the Red Sox fan.
Right.
Yep.
So it can happen to pros as well. But it adds a little bit to the excitement, I think, to the greatest show on dirt.
I think the frequency of the errors, is what gets you a little bit. So Arkansas is now up 3-2. I believe that was in the top of the 8th. I could be wrong. Maybe the top of the 7th. I believe it was top of the 8th. LSU comes up to bat. Bam, home run. We're tied 3-3. Top of the 9th. Arkansas scores 2 runs. Now remind me, there was an LSU mistake on defense in the top of the 9th. Was there not? Because I'm looking at the box score. And both teams hit the ball well. Like LSU had 10 hits. Arkansas had 9 hits. Arkansas had 1 error. LSU was marked down for 3 errors. All right. But Arkansas does take a 5-3 lead. And you got one of the top closers in the entire country coming in. Throws darn near 100. Now, there were multiple pitchers in this game that were breaking triple digits, by the way. These are guys from a pitching perspective and a hitting perspective. They put on a clinic. I know it's weird to say hitting and pitching, but these are dudes hitting triple digits that you're going to see in the majors. Yet they're facing hitters that are putting the ball in play, and not just putting it in play, but hitting it hard, which led to a lot of these, I don't want to say forced errors, but a lot of these errors that were tough plays, but at that level, you're going to be marked out as an error and not a hit. Do you remember if there was anything at the top of the 9th? Because I remember Arkansas scored 2 runs. I'm pretty sure they were clean, though.
Yeah, I believe so. I can't remember anything.
Bases were loaded, base hit down the left side, and then 2 runs came in. So I don't think there were any errors. Okay, so Arkansas is up 5-3. And I'm like, man, they got one of the best closers in the country. Now, he's a freshman. Never been in this exact spot. His numbers are jaw-dropping on the season. I remember the announcers talking about, no, these are real numbers. These are not made up. And then they even pointed out, and I thought that was interesting, that he's a freshman. He's never been in this spot before. But they're up 5-3, one of the best closers in the country. Probably not looking great for LSU. LSU gets a couple runners on base, 1 out. They hit the ball to the shortstop, runners first and second. The shortstop, without hesitation, fielded the ball, threw it to third, got the lead runner. Let me ask you a question. In that situation, Jake, would you have done what he did to get the lead runner? Or would you have gone for 2? And as they replayed it, and he doesn't have the benefit of knowing where the runner's at, or the batter going down the first baseline, how close he is to first. He doesn't have that benefit of the doubt as he's trying to figure out if I'm going to throw to second for 2 or go get the lead runner at third. So again, 1 out, runners first and second, ball hit to short. He doesn't hesitate, throws it to third, gets the lead runner. All right, 2 outs. You're 1 out away from the College World Series. As they replayed the batter out the box going down the line to first base, they could have easily turned 2 and ended the game right there. He chose not to, though. What was your reaction? Did you think that was a mistake? It's not an error. You can argue mental error if you want to. It's not an error. Did you agree with his decision? Did you have a problem with it? What was your thought when you watched that?
Well, that was certainly interesting. After the game, Aloy, who was the SEC Player of the Year, the shortstop making the play, said it was just kind of the way his body was positioned and turned that he felt like that was the right way to go with it. But I mean, obviously, hindsight, you would say we'll get the double play in the game. But he's worried about the player. Obviously, the score you're up 2. He's just worried about the lead runner. So I can understand it. And but it is sometimes it's like go for the win. But I think that's real. Like you said, it's not an error. I think that's kind of the power of hindsight. Like it didn't turn out, so now we can go back and criticize it. But yeah, it's one of those things that's gonna haunt him forever. And throughout the whole thing, obviously everybody that any ties to Nebraska is kind of feeling bad for Davian Horn as this 9th inning broke down. But yeah, I mean, I get it, but I can't get too frustrated with that.
Did you find yourself rooting for Arkansas because of Dave Van Horn or no?
Oh yeah, yep.
All right. So when it happened, just the way his body was positioned, I'm like, he's throwing to third. Like, you just see it. And I was like, to me, it looked like, because there's just a regular ground ball at him. Like, he didn't have to turn right or left too much. His body wasn't torqued. It was like he positioned his body that way. Maybe not. Maybe that's just how it worked out. To me, it looked like he positioned his body that way because he knew before he ever got the grounder and field that he was going to throw it to third. And I'm sitting with my 9-year-old. She goes, Dad, what should he have done? Well, first of all, you don't turn a whole lot of double plays at 9. Okay, so you're going to focus on getting the lead runner. So I'm talking to a 9-year-old about a higher level. So what I said to her, and it was the 100% my thought process, he was decisive, he didn't hesitate, and he got the out. And I said, I can't fault him for that, and he got the lead runner. In a perfect world, I mean, that's a double play ball. It's a double play ball. And again, we're talking about the SEC Player of the Year. So again, much better than I at this. And we have the benefit of hindsight being 2020. It's not one of those things where I'm like, oh my gosh, he unequivocally did the wrong thing. No, he knew what he was going to do. He was decisive. He didn't hesitate, and I can't fault that. I would equate that to basketball. I would equate that to football. Knowing what you're going to do, not hesitating, and just knocking it out, you can always look at it later and determine if you thought it was right or wrong. But if you're hesitant in the moment, you're done. So I had no problem with it. This is where things got crazy, though. All right. It wasn't long after that ball hit the left field. Now, in fairness to the left fielder, it looked like he slipped. It looked like the grass was a little bit slick last night. He slips. I think where, it's a little bit rough, because I'm sure he'll at some point go back and watch it, was if you watch it, it didn't even go off of his, he misses the fly ball. It bounces off of him, ricochets, LSU scores 2 runs, ties the game. I think where it's rough is it didn't just bounce off his mitt. It actually went off barely touched the side of his mitt. Like he completely missed it.
Yeah.
And it went off his shoulder. So first of all, it's got to be a little painful. And then second of all, that's got to be the roughest part of that. Like he just completely missed the ball. That's tough and not something that's going to happen very often.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the slip might have played a factor into it, but looked like he misplayed it, and that kind of caused the slip to a degree. So, that's the one that's going to haunt them.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones that kind of happened throughout this inning, I know you'll get to another one that was just tearing at Arkansas's hearts there. But that's the one I think that, obviously scores the tying run. And it's somewhat of a, it's somewhat of on a rope, right? It's somewhat of a line drive, but It's a routine play that he makes, I want to say 9 out of 10 times, but to be at this level,
19 out of 20, 95%.
Right.
Yeah.
A little bit even more than that.
Yep.
So, and again, that's the one that if you're an Arkansas fan, you're going to wake up with nightmares about that here for the next several months.
That's that. If you want to bring up Bill Buckner, that would be the Bill Buckner play. Like that's the one error that Arkansas had. And again, a lot of pressure. It shows you, and my son said it best. He goes, well, it just shows you that they're human beings. Like they're human beings out there. I think sometimes we forget that. When it comes to what we do, which is talking largely about college athletes, I've been of the mindset, hey, if it's not what it once was. Yes, there's memes and GIFs that maybe people didn't have to deal with at a certain level in yesteryear. There's also, you don't have to do 2-a-days or 3-a-days like 80 years ago. Some teams would do 3-a-days. There's give and take. If you're going to get paid 6 and 7 figures, some players and coaches, like there's an accountability that comes along with that. That's always been my attitude. But at the end of the day, you never forget they are human beings, and a lot of these guys are teenagers, low 20s. So you always keep that in mind. And more than anything, it's like you said, probably going to haunt the Arkansas fans, probably him individually. So that ties the game. By this time, like also just FYI, like we're celebrating my wife's birthday, but it's getting a little bit late for the kids. So the kids are like begging to stay up or like, oh, you need to go to bed and, everything else. When that happened, there was no chance they were going to go to bed. Like the game is tied, insanity has hit the wall and they're not going to bed at this point. And I'm like, all right, fine.
Good.
You can see the end of the inning. And I'm like, but then you're going to bed and it's tied. So they're not happy with that dictatorship statement, as my son called it either. They're like, well, what if it goes into extra innings? I'm like, it's almost 10. You're going to bed. So then they were rooting for LSU so they could see the end of the game because they didn't want to miss anything. Of course, LSU comes up, runner on third, hit the ball up the middle. It's a sharp line drive. The second baseman, great hops up in the air. Initially, it looks like it kind of at regular speed, first take, looks like it just goes over the top of his glove. You look at it again, it went right next to his glove. Again, it didn't even go down as an error. That's not an easy play. That is a play that most ball players aren't going to make. When you've got the College World Series on the line and you're one of the best teams in the country, et cetera, you're one of the best players on that team, I guarantee that second baseman is looking at that like, I have to make that play. And so that's another one where, again, it didn't go just over, it went just by. So he's jumping as high as he can, which, again, is going to adjust your eye level. It's going to make it harder to adjust the ball. The ball's hit on a rope, so you got that long to figure it out. It's not an easy play, but unfortunately, it goes by his mitt, glances just barely off of it. LSU scores the game-winning run. One of the most exciting college baseball games I've personally seen in a long time.
Yeah, and that's what I loved about it. Ultimately, whether you're an Arkansas fan or an LSU fan, it just kind of reminded me of what the first time I watched college baseball was the College World Series 1999, Miami and Florida at the time. It was coming around, or Florida State, excuse me, and I was just coming around to the football rivalry at that time was fantastic, and so it just kind of drew me in. It was a great game, and ever since then, I've kind of paid attention to college baseball. I'll say outside the Husker realm. I knew about Husker baseball at the time, but that's what kind of reminded me. You said your kids were watching it too, and I was thinking, don't put them to bed because it reminded me of a game that would draw new fans in and just show you the best of what college baseball can be. And by the way, I love my dad used to let me watch almost everything. I'll never forget. He put me to bed at the same year, Florida State, Virginia Tech at halftime. It was too late. I had to go to bed, and I'll never forget. That was Michael Vick. I missed the Michael Vick championship game. Obviously, didn't win.
Dude, that is insane that you brought that up because my dad made me go to bed at halftime too. I was so mad
for that game.
What are the odds you would bring up the exact? That's the only time I can ever remember my dad saying, "No, you have to go to bed," despite my whining and complaining and my moaning and my griping. Every other time he would pretty much let me stay. That's the one time because Michael Vick was running all over the place on Florida State and keeping that game interesting. And to this day, I've never seen the second half of that game.
I don't know if I have either.
What are the odds you'd randomly bring that specific game up? That's crazy, dude. Yeah, so I think one of the things I've always loved about college athletics is that up until recently, amateurism. So many things that come along with amateurism. You get more of the purity of the game, the love of the game, and yes, a scholarship meant the world to me. Like my dad flat out looked at me when I was a freshman. I got my first ever letter from a college. It was from the University of Idaho back when they were D1 at the time. And he goes, you're going to have to find a way to pay for your own college. You're either going to have to get a scholarship or you're going to have to take out a loan and spend years paying it back and paying interest on it, like my sister. And so that always kind of stuck with me. But it's interesting when you think about college athletics and the amateurism and the scholarship, what it meant to me and what it means to a lot of guys and gals as they've gotten it over the years. Because the challenge is because my brother-in-law was a walk-on. That's how I met my wife, Angie. He was doing everything we were doing. And then you got to go find a way to pay for school as well, however that looks for them. So I've always had that extra little soft spot for walk-ons. But amateurism also meant these are younger people. You take that into account when you're watching the games, when you're talking about it afterwards. And you take that into account as far as I always found the games maybe a little bit more entertaining because you were going to have more craziness. And I know they're not viewed quite like amateur. I view them as semi-professionals now, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know. Do you kind of view college players that way now?
Yeah,
semi-pro
I mean,
athletes?
you just got to be careful because there's just a wide range of like some of them that are making millions of dollars, absurd, but then there's some of them that are on the other end of it. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, I think over the last couple of years, it's been more viewed that way.
I think and I do think the portal's going to, I don't think, the portal's going to change. That's one of the things the SEC and Big Ten are kind of bickering about, whether we have a spring portal or not, how the calendar looks as an overall whole for the college football calendar. They're not on the same page there. They're not on the same page on several things. I feel like the parents are fighting and all the kids are just kind of like pretending like they don't hear it. Like you're in the other room and you're pretending like you don't hear it, but you can hear the parents fighting in the other room because their voices are so loud. In this case, it's the Big Ten and it is the SEC. I don't know. You got any final thoughts? Yeah, we're going to head to break. You got any final thoughts before we head to break there, Jake? For me, that's one of the things I've always loved about college athletics is I always found it a little bit more entertaining because, how do I put this? It's a little bit more raw, if you will.
Yeah, no, I mean, great points there. I mean, it always fascinates me because sometimes I just go back to my friend. Every time I turn on a game, a basketball friend, he'll be able to tell within the first, like, he's not a basketball fan, but he'll tell within like 30 seconds, oh, this is college or this is pro, because you can just kind of see it. And so, like, I agree with you. If it just kind of depends on your preference. You want to see like fantastic, great, physical athletes doing great things, even on a 2nd and 7, 11-yard catch, then that's kind of your pro sports type of thing. But if like you said, it's just a little bit more unpredictable in college sports, and every college sport's a little bit different, right? College football is pretty much your lead into the NFL. College baseball is not necessarily that way. A lot of guys have to wait till they're 25, 26 to hit the major league.
All right, before we get out of here, LSU, Coastal Carolina, best of 3 series. Who are you rooting for? and who do you have winning?
Boy, that's interesting. Coastal Carolina obviously is a good story, but LSU, I just think that, the giant Mike the Tiger, I just love their passion for college baseball. So they don't necessarily need it as much, but I think LSU wins, and I'm cheering for LSU.
The $500,000 Tiger that's waiting for you?
That's right, yeah.
I'm rooting for Coastal Carolina. They've won 26 in a row. They won this thing just a few years ago. I'm taking Coastal Carolina. So we'll see what happens. All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Psst. You know what's better than waking up early to go to the airport? Sleeping in. Lucky for you, the lines at the Lincoln Airport are so short and our service is so fast. You won't need to sacrifice precious beauty sleep to get here hours before your flight. So, go ahead. Sleep in. You deserve it. And choose the airport that helps you relax. LNK. Make flying easy.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone and Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln with more exciting news for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal-Star's Lincoln Choice Awards: Best New Car Dealer, Best Auto Repair, and Best Place to Get Your Oil Changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for Best Pre-Owned Dealer and Best Tire Dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say it's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Hey Husker Nation, this is Todd Euler, 2-time national champion, here to talk to you about Window World Lincoln. At Window World, we specialize in replacement windows, doors, siding, and roofing. Whether you're looking to enhance the beauty of your home or increase its energy efficiency, we've got you covered. And here's the best part. We offer the best for less. Our team is dedicated to providing top quality products and exceptional service at affordable prices. We want to earn your business and make your home improvement dreams a reality. So why wait? Contact Window World Lincoln today at 464-7313 or visit our website at windowworldlincoln.com. Window World Lincoln, where quality meets affordability.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, patchy fog possible this morning. Otherwise, mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot with a high near 95. Tonight, a slight chance of showers and storms. Otherwise, mainly clear and breezy. Low around 75. And tomorrow, lots of sunshine, breezy and hot with a high around 103. A meteorologist Kyle Fleck from 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Play ball! Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
This is the Adam Carricker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carricker Show. Jake and I are still talking about how ridiculously low the odds are that we would have both missed the second half of the same game, 25 years ago, the Nokia Sugar Bowl, Virginia Tech versus Florida State National Championship. And our dads both just happened to send us to me. I was telling you at halftime, so we couldn't see the second half. I was like, basically, I just laid there, like, pissed off the whole time that I couldn't watch the game. So I might as well just watch the game. But I think my dad was making a point more so than anything. So, all right. Skydiving. Would you ever go skydiving?
I have been invited to do it, and I think if I was younger, I just got past the age of I don't think so anymore.
Okay. So if it was 10 years ago, would you have done it then?
Yeah.
You would have? So my wife likes to do skydiving. She's done it twice now. She's always wanted to bungee jump, do all this stuff. And I'm so much the opposite. If it wasn't for her, I would have never been on a roller coaster in my life, like any of these things. Part of it is my size. I am very aware that if something's going to go wrong, being heavier does not help my chances of things going right. This is not lost on me. In fact, the first roller coaster I ever went on was in St. Louis, going into my rookie year, the summer. And so I sit down. I'm not excited about this thing at all. I sit down, and I'm supposed to pull the thing forward to lock me in. It won't lock in because I'm too freaking big. So we start to go, and there's immediately a huge drop, and I'm pointing to the thing at the guy. No. He just goes like this. He was like an early 20s guy. He just went like this. Just waved at me and smiled as I went by, and I'm like, I'm going to die. I'm going to go flying off this thing, and I'm going to die. Obviously, I did not die. I survived. Oh, we did, a bunch of roller coasters that day. A few years later, we went to Vegas. We did the New York. My son's football team, when they played at Nationals in Florida, we went to SeaWorld, did a bunch of roller coasters that day. So I've gotten to the point where I will force myself to do things just for the sake of forcing myself to do things, because I've realized the less you're willing to try things and less you're willing to push your boundaries, the closer the boundaries keep getting to you over time. And I don't like that. I like that less than I am scared of certain things. Okay. So I'm to the point I had to get over flying. I had no choice. I hate tight spaces and I hate heights. So that was a wonderful recipe of getting in a bunch of airplanes over time, but I had to get over it. Okay. The one thing I did try, because I don't like deep water either, but I've kind of gotten over most of these things. They don't bother me. Heights don't bother me as much. Deep water doesn't bother me as much. Roller coasters, I'm still not a big fan of it, but sure, I'll go do it. No problem. I'll keep their name out of it. There was an individual who also went on the roller coasters that day in Orlando. They'd never been on one before, sat next to me, passed out.
Oh, no.
Pretty much did the whole ride, passed out 5 seconds in, did the whole ride, passed out. Even in the picture, they're like, we get the picture later. They ended up doing 4 roller coasters that day, to their credit. There was the worst one there. I forget what it was called. We did it once. And then, of course, everyone wanted to go back and do it again. They were standing next to me in line. We're about to get on the roller coaster for the second time, this second ride. All of a sudden, this person is just gone. I can't find him anywhere. I saw them about 90 minutes later. They just started laughing when they saw me and shaking their head like that wasn't going to happen again, man. There was no way that was going to happen again. I was like, I understand. That one was pretty. It was definitely the most extreme one they have at SeaWorld. And I don't remember all the names. People who've been there can probably talk about it. The one thing I tried when I was trying to push boundaries that did not go well. This was going into, I think, my second year at St. Louis. I forget what they're called. It's like underwater helmets that you put on. And like there's a tube that ties to the oxygen in the boat. And you take a ladder down and you walk on the bottom of the ocean.
Okay.
And it's like an oxygen helmet you put on and you walk on the bottom of the ocean. In fact, I just saw people doing it the other day on this thing on X. And a lady actually, her feet got caught in the air and flipped around and the thing came off. One of the divers grabbed her, took her to the top. I'm sure she was fine. So again, I'm big. There are inherent problems that come with that. I put the helmet on. Immediately it starts to fog up. I'm a heavy breather. If you're in a car with me and the windows fog, it's probably my fault. I'm just going to tell you. It immediately starts to fog up. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to force myself to do this. So I get on the ladder to go climb down to the bottom of and again, the bottom of the ocean is not like hundreds of feet away. We're talking 20, 30 feet below. And I climb to the bottom and the thing is just completely fogged over. I can't see jack and I freak out. I'm like, I don't like being at the bottom here. I don't like deep water. 20, 30 feet was extremely deep to me at that point in time. I can't see anything. Everybody else I can like clear it quick enough to see that everybody else having a blast, which just made me madder. And I'm like, I'm out. I like hit the guy because he wouldn't look at me because he can't hear me. I like hit him in the shoulder and I pointed up and I think he could see I was not playing around. We went up. I felt like such a loser just sitting in the boat while everyone else is having a blast for like the next 45 minutes. One of the maddest times I've ever been at myself in my life. I felt like I had the game-winning touchdown run and the ball in my hands ready to cross the goal line to win the Super Bowl and I fumbled. Like that's how upset I was at myself. Like I took this very personally. All right. I've come a long way since then. My wife, you have to be 19 to go skydiving. When she turned 19, she went skydiving again out in Weeping Water. Lincoln Sports Parachute Club, I think is what it's called. All right. And they do a great job out there. And so we randomly ran into Bill, the guy who was her tandem instructor. It was a tandem skydive. She's strapped to him. He's the one who knows everything. Okay. And make sure she lands safely. They jumped out together. He makes sure the parachute's working, guides them down. She actually got to like guide the parachute for a little bit too. I think that kind of freaked her out, but he was telling her what to do and he hopped in if there was any issues. We're outside Memorial Stadium in a game like 5 years ago and we're like, we hadn't seen him in 15 years. We're like, wait, don't we? And he looked at us like, wait, don't I know? And we're like, wait, you're that? Yeah, you're that. And so anyways, we connected about 5 years ago and kind of randomly kept touch from time to time on Facebook. So again, I'm like, what do I do for her 40th birthday? She's not even going to be in town. I'm going to be running around with the 5 kids here in Lincoln, here and there with all the kids. I was like, because some people, as they get older, they don't like to do things they once did.
Yeah.
And when you become a parent, especially moms, I've noticed sometimes, their parental instincts kick in. I was like, man, I think she'd still be interested in skydiving. So I hit up Bill. He got right back to me. We set it up for last night. All the kids could come, so they got to see mom skydive. So it was interesting. We hadn't seen, I didn't remember seeing Bill 5 years ago. It was Angie and Bill that saw each other. I was like standing next to her, but I was engulfed in conversation. So I hadn't actually remembered seeing him in 20 years. And so, but there was Bill. It was the same place. Bill's the same tandem instructor. And then he's like, that's the guy that flew the plane 20 years ago. So same pilot, same plane. All right. And so they go up and I was like, well, we have 6 editions here that we didn't have 20 years ago. He's like, yeah, I follow you. I'm aware. So anyways, my 14-year-old wanted to go up in the plane with her, but you have to be 19 just to go in the plane. Well, you can go up, but if they're going to open the door for any reason, you have to be 19 to be in the plane. So she couldn't go. And when the first time Angie went, I went up in the plane, much to my chagrin. I did not want to go. I didn't want to be in the plane. I didn't want to be anywhere near an open freaking door. I didn't want to be, I was not there at that point in life. I did it because I'm such a wonderful boyfriend and husband and I love her so much. And I was willing to sacrifice my life if things went wrong. Actually, I've got an interesting story about that because things about went wrong, at least in my eyes, about 20 years ago. So anyways, they go up, and luckily, not luckily, but there was 2 other guys, so I couldn't go up this time. Nobody else was old enough as far as my kids. So we all watched from the ground. They recorded a video so we could watch the whole video. They opened the door. The other 2 guys, like one guy jumped out at 4,000 feet. The other guy jumped out at like 9. Angie and Bill tandem dived at 10. So you could like see that the one guy just like fell out backwards laughing. Like, you're nuts. What's wrong with you? But some of these guys have actually landed in Memorial Stadium before games.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's how good they are at this. They're literally professionals, so they do a great job. And so they jump out of the plane. We can actually see everything really well from where we're at. They end up landing. I think she's okay with me telling this. I ended up splitting her pants a little bit, but she had some shorts, so I went and got those for her, so she was good. But they got a video of we got a video from 20 years ago, which is still in a box somewhere. We got to find it because we got to compare it to the video from yesterday. Great video. Like, you can see them while they're in the plane. The guy's jumping out, then they jump out. You can see it while they're flying down. You can see it while Angie's trying to like guide the parachute. It was pretty cool. She seemed like she had a great time. So as a husband, I think I did okay. Because on Friday, I was talking with DP and I think Nick, maybe it was Thursday because you weren't there. Were you there when I was trying to figure out what to do?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I think I did a good job. I think she's happy.
Yeah.
So the story from 20 to 21 years ago, she turned 40, so it had been 21 years ago and she was 19. So we go up in the plane. I so wanted to say something to this pilot yesterday, but I just didn't see a point. He's much, much older now. I was like, let the older gentleman be. First of all, I want him to fly safely with my wife and get her back down here in a minute. Well, Bill's going to get her down safely. He needs to take her up safely. So I'm up in the plane. Well, let me backtrack. So they go through a whole instructional video. You know, if something goes wrong, here's what you do if you need to be in charge. Like if something happens to Bill or something goes wrong. So she knew how to use the parachute. At least, you know, she had an hour's worth of instructions, not an expert. But like if something happened, she was set to go. They come over to me and they're like, you're going up in the plane. Again, it's 21 years ago. I was like, yes, I'm going up in the plane. They're like, you need to wear this. I was like, well, I'm not jumping. They're like, you need to wear it. So I put it on. I've got the whole everything, the parachute and everything. I'm like, all right, what do I do? They're like, you don't need to know. You're not jumping. I was like, so I have to wear it, but I have no idea what to do. Okay, well, whatever. So we're up in the plane, and Bill told me yesterday, I didn't know this. He goes, he went over to the pilot. It's a small plane, like a 4-person plane. I actually forgot how small they were until I saw it again yesterday. I didn't know this. He goes to the pilot. He goes, are we going to get off the ground with him in there? And we got off the ground, but I didn't know I legit asked the pilot, like, are we going to get off the ground? We did get off the ground. So we're up in the air. So here's the door that opens. Like, let's say this is the plane flying that way. If you try to envision it, if you're not watching on the tube of viewer television, but on the right-hand side is the door that opens where you can jump out. Okay. And we had a video guy 21 years ago. It was all firsthand yesterday. So the video guy was by the door. Then on the left side was the pilot, and I'm sitting behind him. All right. The video guy is by the door, and Angie and Bill, 21 years ago, are behind him, so kind of next to me. The door opens at 10,000 feet. The video guy literally gets out on the side of the plane. He's hanging by the side of the plane as he's recording. So first of all, that blew my ever-loving mind.
Was this back in 2005? Was this like a huge VHS tape, or was it better by then? Or was it smaller?
I think it was a DVD.
Okay, fair
Pretty
enough.
sure it was a DVD.
Yeah, smaller deal.
So he's hanging by the side of the freaking plane, recording as Bill and Angie go towards the open door. And I'm like, that's crazy. He's just hanging onto the side of a plane. So then he finally drops, okay? But he's like falling backwards, recording up so he can record them as they leap out. So they leap out of a perfectly good airplane. My dad's mind was blown. He's like, wait, you're dating a woman who jumps out of perfectly good airplanes. I'm like, yes, she's awesome. And I actually just told my dad right before we started the show, she did it again. And he's like, oh, she's awesome, but I don't know. I don't know about her, Adam. I don't know. So anyways, the cameraman's like falling backwards so he can film up. Bill and Angie jump out immediately afterwards. The door is still open. So the pilot's here. The open door is here. I'm here. I'm looking straight to my right, and I'm taking pictures. That was my job. Okay, she had a brand new fancy camera. She loves pictures. And I'm taking pictures as they jump out. And I'm like, cool, I can chill now. The pilot immediately flips the plane like this. So if you think about it, the open door is here. I am here. looking straight down at 10,000 feet through an open door. I'm not seatbelted in. Dude, I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. The realization that I have no idea how to use this parachute became very apparent very quickly. And he's like circling like this with the plane like this. And I am just freaking out. I don't think he can hear me because it's very loud in the plane, especially with the open door and whatnot. You know, it takes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes to land or whatever. So finally we end up landing. I did not fall through the open door into 10,000 feet, thank goodness. I freaked out. He levels the plane, we finally land. He just kind of sits there quietly, turns around, looks at me, and he goes, the pilot, I probably should have told you I was going to do that, huh? Oh my gosh. I was like, yeah, you should have told me. He goes, just so you know, you had a camera, and I was trying to make it so you could take pictures from above, down below.
It was all for you to begin with.
I was like, well, that's awesome. Next time, give me a heads up, or maybe just don't do it. That'd be even better. So anyways, Angie, her and Bill arrive. They arrive. Everything's good to go. We got the video. We got to find the video. It's in boxes somewhere from 21 years ago. We got the video from yesterday. So I tell Angie all this. And obviously, everything's good. This is like an hour later after they've landed. She goes, is the camera okay? Like, doesn't ask how I'm doing. By the way, she's a very loving wife, very wonderful woman. Okay. How's the camera? Is the camera okay? Doesn't ask how I'm doing. The camera was wonderfully fine. But anyways, if you are ever interested in skydiving or know someone who might be, Lincoln Sports Parachute Club. No payment for this. They just do a great job. I now have 2 daughters who want to go do it. My 14-year-old and my 12-year-old want to go do it. My 15-year-old son, not so much, but that's okay. So they didn't pay us for that or anything, but they just do a great job. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk a little bit more sports when we come back.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes. Sarah down the street had roofing service company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing service company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing service company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
4th of July weekend is coming soon, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble your grill so it can look and perform its best. Visit their website, huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
When opportunity knocks, you don't want to miss the call. Hamilton Business Technologies makes communication easy and efficient using customized technology, all while putting people first. Whether you're working from the office, at home, or on the go, Hamilton Business Technologies equips your business with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Now's the time to lock in the best deal of the year on a new John Deere sprayer during Landmark Implement's Sprayer Early Order Program. Leverage the industry's latest technology with See and Spray. Target weeds with precision and cut herbicide use. Utilize Exact Apply to save in chemical usage and prevent over-application. Don't forget, secure early order savings and get the sprayer that maximizes every pass. Visit your Landmark location for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
This is the Adam Carricker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carricker Show. Got anything off the textual line there, Jake?
Yeah, a few thoughts here off the text line. Earthquake Blue says, going back to our discussion from the first segment, says 10 o'clock bedtime. Come on, Dad.
Come on, Dad. Oh, you're talking to me with my kids?
Yeah, he's talking to you, yeah.
Dang it.
One-Eyed Ray says, I'm such a good boyfriend/husband, and I love her so much, I'm willing to risk my life. Actually equals I didn't want her calling me a wimp.
Oh, wow. Wow. All right, what's his name?
One-Eyed Ray.
One-Eyed Ray. I see you, One-Eyed Ray. I see you with two eyes, Ray. I see you. All right.
And then finally, Hayden says, definitely the second best show now after early break. Great story.
I appreciate the compliment. The morning show is phenomenal. No questioning that. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's obviously, it's however you perceive getting like a silver medal. I mean, it's medaling. But you didn't quite win.
You know what? I'll take it as a compliment. I think it's meant as a compliment.
Right,
So I'll take it as a compliment. The tone came across that way. All right, man. Little SHEDEUR Sanders news here. All right, 60-mile-an-hour zone, drives 101, cited, at least according to the police records. When you heard this is SHEDEUR Sanders, by the way. When you heard this, what was your initial reaction? Because I kind of had two. All right, but what was your initial reaction, Jake?
Well, I mean, there's a lot that kind of goes into it. Is one that this happens every day and it's not a big story. But this guy's name is SHEDEUR Sanders, so it is. The second one, and so you kind of go through all these different thoughts of like, yeah, he's young, but he should know he's got a spotlight on him, and it's just frankly very dangerous, right? So I think sometimes we get into the young excuse a little bit too often. He's old enough to know not to drive more than 100 miles per hour and 40 miles over the speed limit. Especially with kind of an open quarterback job, doesn't seem like the most maturity you're looking for there. So I mean, it's not good, but I also realize that it's a bigger story than what it would be if he was named really anything else.
You kind of had a similar reaction to what I had. It was like bang bang. My two reactions. My first reaction was, I can't say I've never gotten a speeding ticket. I can't sit here and say that I'm blameless, okay? 101 and a 60, definitely not safe at all. Can't even argue that or debate that. There was a couple of losses in high school where things didn't go well. I may have taken it out on the gas pedal. I don't know if I ever went 101, but the speed limit was also around 35. So I probably went like 37, 38 because I'm not going to admit to jack on air. But I will tell you that was one of my first reactions. And I will say this, just because something may become a little bit more and more commonplace doesn't make it okay.
Right.
It's still There's a speed limit. There's safety concerns. I get really annoyed when people text and drive. Like that's really isn't great. And I know it happens a lot. And again, I'm not blameless here. It's something that just, I think particularly with kids, and you live in a neighborhood and you want kids to be safe, something can happen. But to me, the other thing is, like, you're going to have a bigger spotlight on you if you're in the NFL, if you are drafted, regardless of where you're drafted. Obviously, the higher you're drafted, the bigger the spotlight is. If you're a quarterback fighting for an NFL starting job, and someone that a lot of people, including myself, a lot of people think he'll start by Thanksgiving. I've kind of given the 2-year barometer buffer, even though there's no guarantee he'll be on the team come game 1. I do think he will be. But when you are SHEDEUR Sanders, like you have to be aware that there's going to be a higher level of scrutiny. There has to be a level of self-awareness. Like I said this the other day with Diego Pavia, and he had a big microphone in front of his face when he basically took blatant shots at the Big Ten and at Nebraska. And I said, with all due respect, he's probably not used to that big of a microphone in front of your face. So you got to recognize, you got to have that self-awareness. There's going to be a higher level of scrutiny when certain things are coming your way. And if your name is SHEDEUR Sanders, you've got to have that self-awareness. And then from an NFL perspective, from a fighting for a quarterback job perspective, like, you're going to hurt your chances of being a starting quarterback, of being on the team in Cleveland. It's weird because that's a quarterback room where he could not be in it come game 1, or he could be the starter legit by November. That quarterback room is so deep, yet so wide open all at the same time. You have to keep these things in mind. And if you're SHEDEUR Sanders, right now, you and Aaron Rodgers are the top 2 stories in the NFL right now, much like when Tim Tebow was playing. Whether he was starting or not, I mean, you could argue Tebow, you could argue Kaepernick back at that time. Whether they were starting or not, they were the top stories. You have to have this sort of self-awareness, and it has to factor in. And if, you can say young, we all make mistakes, 1,000% true, but different people have different things on the line, and different people have different levels of scrutiny. When I was a first-round pick in St. Louis, I was well aware there was a gigantic spotlight on me. I didn't walk around scared, but I was well aware I needed to be a little bit more careful and smart about things.
Yeah, very fair. I mean, and you're right. I mean, I think especially with just kind of the spotlight on yourself, he's got the means if he wants to, I'm sure, to get on a track if he wants to and drive really fast. So, it is, again, it's disappointing, but it just kind of adds, I don't want to say it adds because I don't want to make it sound like it betters the situation in any way or certain form, but it's just, it continues to be, one of the craziest stories we've ever seen in the NBA, NFL. I keep going back to that movie Draft Day and how horrible and unrealistic it was. And yet, at the same time, what happened to SHEDEUR Sanders would be even more unrealistic if you tried to put that in a movie. So, again, it's just so interesting. And again, that's to your point. He's got to realize he's everything he does is going to be scrutinized. And if you do things that are unarguably bad, then the scrutiny is going to come in even heavier.
Could you imagine? Let's say he ends up starting. Let's say he plays 10 years, has a good career. Doesn't even have to be Hall of Fame, but just has a good career, makes a Pro Bowl or 2. Let's say he wins 1 Super Bowl or plays in a Super Bowl. The movie one day, from being a projected top first-round draft pick to 5th-round pick to the scrutiny to the last name to everything else that would happen over the next 10 years, dude, that would be an amazing movie. We'll see how it plays out, though, in real life in the meantime. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Arceus Boxing presents this Saturday at the Complex amateur fights with a little bare-knuckle bite. Some of Nebraska's best amateur boxing, along with a professional bare-knuckle bout between Jack Lawless Frericks and Jake Palmer, and a kickboxing bout between Demorio Dennis and Eric Murray Jr. Go get your tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com, where you can live stream this event as well. Doors open at 6 p.m. and first bout is at 7 p.m. this Saturday at the Complex at 1555 Yolanda Avenue.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Now's the time to lock in the best deal of the year on a new John Deere sprayer during Landmark Implement's Sprayer Early Order Program. Leverage the industry's latest technology with See and Spray. Target weeds with precision and cut herbicide use. Utilize Exact Apply to save in chemical usage and prevent over-application. Don't forget, secure early order savings and get the sprayer that maximizes every pass. Visit your Landmark location for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Husker fans, the 2025 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and we need your support in the Sea of Red at Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $185. This plan includes tickets to Michigan or USC, plus Akron or Houston Christian, and either Michigan State, Northwestern, or Iowa. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red!
Play ball! Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
When you're outdoors beneath Nebraska skies, adventure comes in all sizes. From quick escapes and long weekends to true off-the-grid retreats. Paddle, hike, camp, explore. Whether you have a few hours or a few days, we'll guide you to a state park or recreation area that's a perfect fit. Start your next adventure today at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carricker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, first and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carricker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carricker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carricker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carricker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carricker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. This is hour 2, numero dos. All right, you got anything off the text line before we proceed on there, Jake?
Yeah, a few different thoughts here. Bill and Bennett says, I bet Adam needed a change of underwear after that.
Dude, I needed a whole freaking change of diaper after that.
Also, 3477 says about SHEDEUR, it's not the first time he went 144 when he was supposed to go 25.
So when you first read that to me, I was so confused. And then it hit me. That's mean yet hilarious.
And to be clear, he went 101 and a 60, but we get the point. 5124 says, have y'all seen the video of Adrian Peterson in a fist fight at an office today?
I have not seen it. You said TMZ released it like an hour ago?
Yeah. I just
have you
went and
seen
looked.
it?
Yeah, yep.
Did he win?
Well, I think yes. At the end of the video, it looked like he had the upper hand, but it was a lot of squaring off and a lot of people trying to break up a fight. But in the end, he did. It looked like get the upper hand.
Do we know who the opponent was?
We do not. There seemed to be a dispute over a poker game.
I said opponent like this was a boxing match or something. But
It's a smaller guy than Adrian, so that I don't know if he won or not, but I'll at least give him. I wouldn't try to get in a fist fight with Adrian Peterson. He looked like he was my size.
That's interesting. I'll have to check out the video later. All right. Anything else before we proceed on here?
No. Just that also, I know Adrian doesn't always, he's got some troubles or whatever that we hear about from time to time, but I just always go back to, man, he was amazing, especially his freshman year at Oklahoma. He had some injuries throughout his career. Otherwise, I think he would have been all-time great as far as college. And obviously in the pros, he is an all-time great.
When I think of greatest freshman seasons ever, Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
Again, a little bit before my time, but I'm aware of these things. I think of Herschel Walker, Adrian Peterson, Maurice Clarett for Ohio State. I mean, I was just going to keep it to running backs. I think I'll just keep it to running backs. Is there any other running back true freshman seasons? Obviously, Amon stepped up big time in 95, but as far as an entire season from beginning to end, those are the three that pop out of my head. Am I missing anybody?
I mean, again, we might be, but those are the three that I think
that popped in your head as well.
Yeah.
He was having played against him in college and in the NFL. He was actually my first NFL tackle against the Vikings. He was a rare combination of three things: speed, power, and angry. I've legit seen the dude, like most running backs will try to avoid contact. I've legit seen him change his course of direction to go initiate contact and try to run over somebody. Especially the smaller you are, the more he's going to seek you out. I mean, he wouldn't run from a D lineman or a linebacker or a DB, or like he wouldn't run from anybody. But like I've legit seen him like you can see his eyes and you can see his foot in the ground, and then he's changing direction right at particular defensive players because he wants to go initiate contact. And then he had the breakaway speed. He was big and powerful to begin with. He came in, like you said, had some injuries. He came in from day one of the best running backs in the country, straight out of high school. All right, my man, Matt Rhule praises quarterback Dylan Raiola. Now, this was during a radio appearance a few days ago. Nebraska football coach had high praise for his starting quarterback. Matt Rhule made the comments about sophomore starting quarterback Dylan Raiola while appearing on the Jim Rohn show. Again, this was a few days ago. Rhule not only praised his quarterback's leadership, but also disclosed the multiple schools that contacted Raiola despite his never entering the transfer portal. And I quote, "And everyone reached out to him. He could have taken the easy way out and left and gone into the portal and gone to some place where he could start over, where he doesn't have to do as much himself, but he chose to stick it out and fight. All right. He will be also working out with some elite talented quarterbacks later this month at the Manning Passing Academy on the campus of Nicholls State University. All right, that's going to be June 26th through June 29th. The Cornhuskers head coach also praised off-the-field traits that Raiola has developed since the end of last season. And I quote, "Where I see him growing is in the phase of leadership and the phase of mental toughness, handling adversity. I think he's going to have a great year," end quote. All right, when you hear things like that, what's kind of your reaction? What are your thoughts there, Jake? And if people want to chime in on the text line as well, what is that number, Jake?
402-464-5685.
Never changes, but go ahead, Jake. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I it's basically what we thought would happen. I like acknowledging it, right? I think Dylan Raiola obviously does have every opportunity to go, just about 95% of places around the country, maybe even more than that, and would have offers to do so, and probably has had offers to do so. So it's good to go, get out and acknowledge it, and to kind of remember what an asset he is for Nebraska. Again, you might have differing opinions about how his freshman season went. We just talked about some of the greatest of all time. His wasn't in that category, but it was solid, right? And now we expect to see a big jump coming up here from him. So, I love the fact that he's basically at any event Nebraska is throwing or a part of, or Matt Rhule is around. I love that he's there. He's an easy guy to look up for to the kids in the community. So, he's an easy guy to root for, let alone that, Nebraska's, he's got a Nebraska's franchise quarterback right now. So obviously you want to root for him, but he's easy to root for. And I just like how Matt Rhule is, kind of takes down that wall sometimes. Some coaches wouldn't want to speak about this or acknowledge it, but Matt Rhule just kind of tell you directly how it is. And so I appreciate Matt Rhule in this instant too, acknowledging and reminding us that it is still a gift, and you do have to re-recruit these players. And he's a guy that's going to be difficult to hold on to if the loyalty is not there.
So as far as acknowledging, basically, other schools reached out to him. Other schools contacted him. I remember last winter when there was all these rumor and innuendo and speculation about him possibly entering the portal, et cetera, and came out and put those all to bed. There's no doubt to me that he's been contacted by other schools. Matt Rhule obviously just confirmed it. Even before that, we pretty much kind of had an idea. And I think Rhule puts that out there. Let's be real. There isn't anything that he says that doesn't have a reason behind it. And so if I'm the head coach and I want to be open, I want to be honest, but I also want to endear my quarterback to the fans more, I can say, just so you know, he had other offers and he chose to stay here, which is 100% true. Okay, so first of all, it's true. It lets the fan base know, hey, he wants to be here. He is not only our guy, he's your guy. He's your guy as well. He's here to represent this team, this state, this university, this program. He had offers to go elsewhere, and he chose to stay. So I think that's a major reason he puts that out there, and it makes a lot of sense. And frankly, if I was the head coach, I'd put it out there too. At this point in time, I wouldn't have done it at that time, which he did it. I would do it at this point in time because it's a good message for the fans to hear, to know. And it's interesting, every once in a while when you hear somebody kind of come down on Dylan or whatever, I've been consistent with this. I have a hard time with that. How can you realistically, even if you look at Dylan's freshman year, okay, he's a true freshman, comes in, starts as a teenager, talked about it a million times. Yeah, was there some ups and downs, 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. I mean, the last half of the year, he had 3 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. So it was, a 3-to-1 ratio in the wrong direction that you don't want. But there was a lot of things that the team was figuring out, coaching staff-wise, what they're going to do on offense, how they're going to adjust this, how they're going to do that. Other teams had film on Dylan. Frankly, heating up Dylan is the best way to try to, no pun intended, get to him. Okay, you heat him up, which to me, a true freshman quarterback, that would be my first instinct. Let's bring it and let's see what he can do with it. But teams kind of got film on that. They adjusted and it became harder. And that's kind of how coaching works. That's how adjustments works. That's how audibles work. That's how in-game, out-of-game, between weeks, in games, throughout season, in-season adjustments work. But to me, I never understood when people would be like, I don't know, you hear crazy things. He's not that good, or he's not this, or over that, he's over this or over that. I'm just like, how can you say any of that? because we don't know. Like my expectations for year one, I was very clear on what they were. Year two, they're obviously going to increase, and I'm going to expect more. And I still haven't put them sky high. I'm waiting for year three on that. For year two, I'm just like, I'd love at least a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. And he was actually 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio through 6 games. All right. So he's shown he can take care of the ball. He had, I believe it was a 73% completion percentage up until the Indiana game. And then from the time Holgerson took over the last 3 to 4 games, it was 70% or better. So he had mid 60s to high 60s for about 3 or 4 games there in that, what I'd call the third quarter of the season, the middle 3 to 4 games, or the back end 3 to 4 games before you get into the fourth quarter, so to speak. So for me, he's shown he can complete passes. He's shown he can make good decisions. The progression is what we need. Number one, taking care of the ball. 13 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. You got to bring the interceptions down. All right, can you take care of the ball, continue to make good decisions, and then be clutch when we need it the most? I think you've said it multiple times this offseason. We need to win games because of Dylan Raiola, not in spite of Dylan Raiola. And I think that's a fair thing to expect. But at the end, I'm still not saying he needs to be a Heisman candidate, needs to be an All-American. I mean, he has the capability of being all those things, by the way. For me, I've just said some sort of all Big Ten. First team, second team, third team. Heck, I'd even take honorable mention. Okay? That would be a noticeable improvement in the right direction. And in order to do that, higher completion percentage as an overall whole, taking care of the ball and being clutch in those big-time situations, because Nebraska has struggled, as we know, close games late in fourth quarters. And if he can be that clutch guy that we've needed for a while to step up, those one-score losses, we were 2-4 last year, maybe you flip that to 4-2. Maybe it could even be better than that. Okay? So that's when I look at Dylan Raiola, that's what I'm looking for. You go into year three, depending on how year two goes, and there may be onslaughts of phone calls next offseason. We'll see how the transfer portal changes and if rules can actually be enforced without people just laughing at the NCAA and suing them if they don't like what's going on every 2 minutes. There is an enforcement body coming in college football. Now, will they have any actual power? We'll see. How soon will they be here? We'll see. In the meantime, we're stuck with whatever the NCAA actually is at this point. But going into year three, that's when you look at a guy with his talent level. At that point, will have been a 2-year starter. You look at a guy with the expectations, 5-star, all that, and you start to have the lofty expectations. For this year, it's just kind of what I've diatribed at this point. Does that kind of make sense, Jake?
Yeah. I get what you're saying, and I agree with you. It's just kind of the natural progression, right? You have to take steps before you can become the Heisman Trophy contender, and maybe he'll never get there. Maybe he will. Hopefully, we all hope that he does. But that's just not the next step after this year. But it is interesting how quickly your star can kind of fade, at least as far as the perception of you're kind of being the next big thing. You look at some of these quarterback rankings going into the Big Ten. There, you see Julian Sayin ranked higher, hasn't taken a snap. Now he's got Ohio State quarterbacks always have the benefit of having some talent around him. But even like a Desmond Williams, who I've been seeing ranked higher than him, who had a really great bowl game, but has only played like 2 games. He's a freshman. So we're all excited about him. And again, to your point, nobody had film on Desmond Williams. He just went out there and balled out. And we saw Dylan do that at the beginning of last year. Once you get some film on him, it becomes a little bit more difficult. So I'm interested to see what happens next. And listen, as far as the transfer portal, it's every player, and Dylan being your biggest asset, that's always going to be a bit of something of a concern, as much as they can kind of bring it down. Even again, say if you have a ho-hum year, sometimes just a new place could maybe make you feel a little bit better. So, it is hopefully, for many reasons, they take that next step for the continuity and of course the growth development of Dylan Raiola.
To be clear, like, he has the ability to just completely and utterly pop off this year. I just don't know that it's fair to they say that as an expectation. And like I said, when people were kind of get down on Dylan, I was like, man, the whole program as a whole has got to get better. He's part of that program. What's realistically fair to expect out of a true freshman starting quarterback a year ago? So there's a level of grace that you give him. The grace is still there, but the level of expectation increases this year and continues to increase going into next year, at least for me. You look at some of these. It's funny, I had this pulled up while you were talking about it, so it's perfect you kind of brought it up. The Big Ten preseason quarterback rankings. The one I'm looking at right now, he's ranked, and this is fairly consistent, by the way, is the 6th best quarterback in the Big Ten going into the season. Obviously, you can go up or down pretty quickly on these lists. Drew Aller kind of unanimously, by far the most experienced guy in the Big Ten, unanimously the number 1 preseason quarterback by most publications. And then you've got a bunch of guys who combined don't have the amount of starts that Dylan Raiola does. And number 2, you got Julian Sand, who is a incredibly highly recruited, highly talented guy out of Ohio State. You don't have to question the talent around him. You don't have to question the program around him. You don't have to question the coaches, even though he's got a new OC. Brian Hartline has been there forever. He's just now the OC, but it's not like he's a brand new face. So there's less questions around him. You look at Dante Moore at Oregon. This is a guy that started at UCLA, then transferred and sat for a year before he's starting again at Oregon. How often do you hear that? I'm going to transfer and sit for a year, not sit out, but sit for a year behind Dylan Gabriel. So that actually tells me a lot about who and what he is and what he's willing to do. You have something?
I don't love. Listen. I'm excited to see Dante Moore again. I kind of followed him because he was a freshman All-American. If you do the halfway freshman All-American, but his job was eventually taken by Ethan Garbers. And Ethan Garbers actually played pretty well against Nebraska, so you might have a different opinion on him. But he's a solid quarterback. But he's not. I just don't. That's one I have a big problem with, and I think it's just the Oregon. We all just assume he's just going to take over and be just as good. I don't think he's going to be just as good as Dylan Gabriel. So, I don't understand how Dante Moore is ranked ahead of even Dylan at that point in there.
To be clear, I don't think he'll be as good as Dylan Gabriel. I do think you're right. It's the Oregon brand kind of helping him out. And you made a good point earlier. People, what they see recently is what sticks out in their mind. Sometimes they forget. Oh, they're outliers. How old you are, how young you are, what your experience level is, the potential you still have in front of you. And you look at Dylan, and I think the last half of the season, especially, Indiana to the next 3 games, UCLA, whatnot, that kind of sticks out in some people's minds a little bit more for whatever reason. And so I think that's why he's a little bit lower when you're right. You're like, I still like that he was willing to sit out a year, learn, grow, and get better, Dante Moore. But as far as how good he's actually going to be, it's a fair point. He did lose his job at UCLA. I will say this. Will Howard lost his job at Kansas State. So you never know. We'll see what happens there. But you got Julian Sane at number 2, Dante Moore number 3. To your point, Desmond Williams, who was also a true freshman last year. And when you say he balled out in the Sun Bowl. Like, he played well. Those 3 guys combined don't have the amount of reps, snaps, or starts that Dylan has, yet they're all rated ahead of him. Outside of Desmond, you can also say there's a little bit of brand, I don't want to say favoritism, but, people are going to see Ohio State, Oregon, and they're naturally going to bump a quarterback up because they know what's around them probably. Desmond Williams just looks so freaking good. He's at number 4, the Washington starting quarterback. Luke Altmaier is the only other quarterback with any real starting experience in front of Dylan here, okay? The former 4-star quarterback, I believe he transferred from Ole Miss to Illinois, struggled in year 1. I may have called him a turnover machine before we played him on that Friday night 2 years ago, and then last year, my goodness, did he improve. And that's what I'm hoping for Dylan. I'm not saying Dylan was a turnover machine last year, but the improvement that Luke Altmaier made from his first year at Illinois to last year was night and freaking day. Could we see an improvement like that this year for Dylan? Because Luke Altmaier was a highly recruited quarterback. Dylan's ceiling is even higher. So we'll see what happens. Luke Altmaier is at 5 according to this list. This is Josh Pate's list. All right, Dylan Raiola at 6. Jaden Maeva. There's so many talented quarterbacks in the Big Ten. This could be one of the most unproven group of quarterbacks I've ever seen as starters in the Big Ten, and one of the most talented. You got Jaden Maeva, you got Bryce Underwood at number 8, Fernando Mendoza, all right, in Indiana, Nico Iamaleava. This doesn't even include Aiden Childs up at Michigan State. You've got so many different guys that are so talented, yet I would say Nico Iamaleava is incredibly unproven. Yet, that's a guy, if I'm being honest, I think his ceiling is just as high as Dylan's. But I would say Dylan's maybe even a little bit more proven than Nico, in my opinion, because Nico started off hot, and then he really struggled once they hit SEC play. I know they want to blame Josh Heupel there, but we'll see what happens at UCLA. What are your thoughts here, Jake?
I'm just upset the Greek rifle, Ethan Kaliakmanis, is not getting enough love on these. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a fan of Kaliakmanis, but not. I do understand his limitations. But yeah, so like to your point though, this is it's interesting because the wave of quarterbacks that's coming in, like we said, a lot of unproven. So you can kind of maneuver this list however you'd want. I would personally think Altmaier deserves a little bit more respect for having his team finish in the top 15 and have 22 touchdowns and 6 picks. So I wouldn't rank all these, guys that are unproven ahead of him. But this could be the next wave, like you're saying. Like right now, maybe they're not household names, but if even 3 or 4 of these young guys in the Big Ten hit, we've got several years of these guys that are establishing themselves as household names this year, where the future of the quarterback play in the Big Ten could really take off.
So many young, talented guys. A lot of the guys we just went through, but I just kind of briefly mentioned Bryce Underwood. And there's been reports, maybe he didn't show up in creme de la creme physical condition at Michigan. Some people have made the joke of the freshman 15. And then you hear other people say, no, he looks good. Like he looks good. And I would equate to him the same thing I said about Dylan last year. He's a true freshman. Like keep that in mind with these incredibly high expectations. And when you're getting paid the amount of money he's getting paid, high expectations are fair as well. I do think that has to be factored in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we got brief look ahead to Game 6, NBA Finals. College football playoff, it's truly becoming insane. Because we always thought it was Big Ten SEC versus the world. Now it's Big Ten SEC versus each other and the world. They cannot get on the same page there. And Jordan Westerkamp will join us at 12:45. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
4th of July weekend is coming soon, and you know what that means. Grilling season. You know what's more embarrassing than an overcooked piece of meat? A dirty, disgusting, and grimy grill. Let the pros at Husker Grill Cleaning get you ready for grilling season. They'll take your grill apart piece by piece, scrub every inch, and reassemble your grill so it can look and perform its best. Visit their website, huskergrillcleaning.com today to schedule your appointment. Husker Grill Cleaning, serving Lincoln, Omaha, Malcolm, and more.
Rick Heyman here from Starter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Starter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at starterheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, patchy fog possible this morning. Otherwise, sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot with a high near 95. Tonight, a slight chance of showers and storms. Otherwise, mainly clear and breezy. Low around 75. And tomorrow, lots of sunshine, breezy and hot with a high around 103. I'm meteorologist Kyle Huck from 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle, and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
Noticing more dust at home? It may be time for duct cleaning from Bryant. Breathe easy and healthy. Call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
I tried to hide my cigarette smoking. Then I was rushed into emergency surgery to repair the damage smoking did to my heart. It shocked everyone because they thought I was healthy. Yet because I smoked, I had a severe heart condition that nearly killed me. My tip is, you may be able to hide your smoking from the world, but you can't hide from the damage smoking does to your body.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Adam Carricker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carricker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right, real quick, Jake, is there anything off the textual line that we should address? Anybody out there calling me not a wimp or anything of the like?
No, just another thought from as far as freshman running back. Somebody throws out Marcus Dupree, 0973 says, and Marcus Dupree did have a special freshman season. His third-team All-American, maybe if you were in the Big Eight, and obviously I didn't live through those days, so maybe it would stick with you, but I would say his season, less than 1,000 yards, a little bit a level lower than guys like Adrian Peterson, arguably should have won the Heisman that year. That was before they gave any freshmen the Heismans. Herschel Walker definitely should have won the Heisman that year and ended up winning a couple years later. Then Maurice Claret obviously led his team to the national title. So I'd say it's a little bit different level, but a good poll.
I like that. That is a good poll as well. It's not one I would have thought of, kind of like you, just a little bit before my time, but that's a good poll right there as well. All right, college football playoff insanity. So, well, real quick, what are your thoughts on what we've heard about the SEC, the Big Ten? So the SEC wants to change the strength of SOS, strength of schedule metrics. Couldn't think of it. All I could think of was Save Our Souls for some reason, but SOS popped in my head. I'm like, no, it's not Save Our Souls. It's strength of schedule metrics. They want to basically tweak it a little bit, so it's going to help them a lot. Essentially, an incredible emphasis on playing ranked teams. The SEC always has the most ranked teams. Preseason, we know how incredibly accurate preseason polls are. So basically, starting from day one, they have the most ranked teams, which there's a lot of SEC bias in. So then you beat these ranked teams. So then your strength of schedule skyrockets. And it would not emphasize as much the non-con. And it certainly would not emphasize their third bye week they have every year, that basically FCS team they play every year in November before they have their rivalry weekend. You know, Mercer, with all due respect, never heard of you. And they want to devalue that, of course. So that's a thing of contention. They did say there is a possibility with some of these formats, they might go to a 9th SEC game. So that is an option as well. But depending on the format, they may not want to go to the 9th SEC game. I do think the automatic qualifier format, which they are not a fan of now. Remember, they wanted that. Everybody got upset about it, except for me. I was like, no, this is actually great. This is actually going to help the ACC and Big 12, and it's actually going to put a limit on the SEC. So they don't have 7 teams into a 16-team playoff, because that's what would happen with the 5-11 model. Now the Big 10 likes the 14-team or 16-team, the automatic qualifier format, and the SEC wants the 5-11 model. So, and then the other thing is the transfer portal window. They want to limit it to 1 window a year instead of 2. But then the question is, when do you do it? Do you do it in the winter? Do you do it in January? There's just all sorts of disagreements between the two parents right now, mom and dad, Big Ten and SEC. What's your take and what are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, it is fascinating because, again, for years you could see the SEC and Big Ten kind of breaking away, becoming the powerful conferences, and it just got to a point to where it's undeniable, right? To where now they have all the power brands, the biggest conferences, all that. And so, as we kind of see this developing for a long time, it's like those are going to be the winners. But they have to get on the same page at some point, and you would figure at some point too that they would have a difference in philosophy, if you will, because they just kind of have had that as conferences all together, and you're fighting for yourself and all that. So that makes sense. But it's kind of strange. I always felt like they were kind of on the same page when at some point it was going to have to come to a little bit of an argument here. And the strength of schedule thing is so fascinating because, like you said, there's preseason rankings and stuff that goes into that. Really, the strength of schedule ranking isn't even close to an exact science till the end. Then you can really make a pretty good idea of where the strength of schedule. Even then, though, injuries factor in, timing of playing, a lot of different things can factor in to not make it an exact science. So it's about one of the closest metrics that we could use, but it's not exact, and there's no way to kind of figure that out outside of what we've deemed now is just, all right, let's just play it on the field. But I was surprised that those conferences want to move away from the 4 automatic qualifying spots. Kind of seems fair to me. That kind of seems like it makes sense. Like, let's not act like these conferences are equal. I was surprised that we were doing the model ever to begin with to have like we did last year. Not that I foresaw the seeding being as bad as it was, but I was just surprised we were ever acting like they were the same conferences to begin with and should earn the same thing for winning the SEC as you would the ACC or Big 12 and Big 10. I don't want to kind of sound like SEC homer there.
Nobody's ever going to accuse this show of being an SEC homer. I think that's pretty clear. I'm just going to read a few tweets here. They are a little bit lengthy, but from College Football Insiders, Brett McMurphy and Ross Dellinger. Conference commissioners have decided to, and I quote, start over on determining the 2026 college football playoff format, sources said. I think this is 2 years from now they're talking about that format. All right, the Big Ten and SEC initially wanted 4 AQs each, with 2 from the ACC, 2 from the Big 12, et cetera, et cetera. However, the ACC and Big 12 pushed back. I don't know why they did. Anyways, SEC, that's not what he said. That's my interjection right there. SEC coaches later publicly did not support the 4 AQ model, instead preferring a 5 AQ plus 11 at large format for the 16-team playoff, as did the ACC and Big 12. I'm going to pause right there. The ACC and Big 12, they need a reality check because the SEC wants this format because the automatic qualifier format, which they no longer are a fan of, limits them to 4 teams. In their mind, if we make it at large spots, 11 of them, plus our conference champ, we're getting like 6, 7, maybe even 8 teams in. And you look at the ESPN top 10 most difficult strength of schedules in the country and which teams have those. I talked about it, I think it was Nick on Friday or maybe Monday. They're all 10 SEC teams. So apparently the 10 toughest schedules in the country all belong to SEC teams. They want to make the strength of schedule more important when it comes to evaluating these teams, which I am for. But let's not emphasize things that help a certain conference and de-emphasize things that would affect a certain conference, and in essence, helping them again. I'm just like, the SEC wants this for a reason. Am I the only one that's like, there's a reason they want this? Why the Big 12 and ACC want it? Because I have no freaking idea. All right, SEC coaches later publicly did not support a 4 AQ model, instead preferring the 5 AQ plus 11 at large format for the 16-team playoff, as did the ACC and Big 12. The SEC wants more value given to strength of schedule metrics, talked about that, something the CFP executives discussed in today's meetings. However, a source cautioned, even if a strength of schedule is supposed to carry more weight with the committee, it still boils down to their opinions. Opinions, like when people say, the eye test told me. All they're saying is my opinion, by the way. All right, it still boils down to people's opinions, and I'm going to inject the word bias. We all have bias. I have bias. Everybody has it. That's why we need as many people involved in this process. We need some computers involved. We need some people involved. We need different points of view so the bias gets diluted and hopefully becomes more accurate without having too many chefs in the kitchen. All right, but we'll keep on reading. Deadline for finalizing the 2026 college football playoff is December 1st of 2026. Now, here's Ross Dellinger. Now, let me see. Clark and the college football playoff staff has spent the last several weeks studying ways to create data points. I don't know who Clark is. I just screenshotted this, so Clark must be important. All right, to be used in the playoff discussion. They are more heavily weighted on a team's strength of schedule, even using outside mathematicians and data analysis to assist in this endeavor. So they are all about the strength of schedule, because last year they had all these teams with 3 losses that didn't get in, and they want to de-emphasize the wins and losses and emphasize the strength of schedule, which I don't have a problem with to a degree. But how are you determining strength of schedule? That's where I'm kind of like, I think we're jading it a little bit in the SEC's favor, how we're determining strength of schedule. That's what they want. Next tweet from Ross, college football playoff expansion to 16, which I don't want. I want 14. That's just me, not Ross. May hinge on the selection criteria change. SEC's move toward an 8Q heavy format, okay, the 5-11 model. The Big Ten supports the 4-4-2-2-1-1 model, but was stymied with pushback. All right, even from its coaches that shifted the league to a format with a bigger at large pool. Apparently, I cut off part of that tweet as I screenshotted. Basically, the SEC wants a bigger at large pool. The Big Ten wants the 4-4-2-2-1-1 model. All right, let me finish the rest of this tweet here. Yeah, basically, I can read it all, but basically, I'm kind of skimming through. They want the 5-11 models, the SEC. The Big Ten wants the AQ model. I've talked about this before. I want it played out on the field. I want to take human bias out of it as much as possible. If we go to a 5-11 model, I mean, the ESPN SEC network is just going to hammer home the SEC all day long. The people who vote, there's a reason there's so many preseason SEC teams ranked versus other conferences. The SEC is a good conference, not disparate, not arguing that. But at a certain point, what happens in the regular season has to matter. And if you don't want college football completely centralized to just a Southeast, maybe a Big Ten, a little dab here and there, you've got to give other conferences an opportunity, or all people are going to see is SEC teams, and that's where everyone's going to go. All the recruits are going to go. If you keep it more evenly dispersed, then teams like Clemson and the Big Ten and some of these other teams, Arizona State out of nowhere, have a chance to keep college football more balanced. That is not really what even the Big Two want, the Big Ten and SEC. They want the power. They want to have the control because they're not interested in what's best for college football, which is everybody having a more equal shot. All right. They're interested in what's best for them, which is the SEC and the Big Ten having certain advantages. And the SEC right now is trying to create the ultimate advantages for themselves. Thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, it's just fascinating, again, because you do see that bias, and sometimes it just doesn't play out. I mean, the best example, of course, is coming off of last year, where if you would have done this at-large type of situation, we have 11 at-larges. I don't know what the exact math was. I was trying to look it up, but you might be, Alabama might have got in, South Carolina might have got in. And, when you played it out, the bowl games out there, and again, bowl games, people sitting out, that sort of thing, maybe not, again, exactly what it used to be, but Illinois and Michigan got the wins there. So the perception, again, could be the SEC is strong. These teams are, a loss or two away because they play in the SEC from being ranked even higher. And then they go out there and lose to a Big Ten team, even though they're favored. And then, reality kind of sets in. So I understand it, but it is interesting, definitely kind of going in here, because we're seeing a shifting of arguments, right? Because for the longest time, it was that the SEC, the SEC, from what I hear from people, is that the SEC is, they won all these titles, but they're top heavy. And now it's almost like the SEC is, because they haven't won the last 2 titles, is now kind of, turning toward, the middle is we just have better middle conference. There's so much depth in the SEC, and that's kind of what they're hoping to get over here. So it's kind of interesting to see how arguments change over the years. And the Big Ten, has to kind of stand this fight. Sounds like they're kind of the odd man out there. And so, I'd see the SEC and the other conferences get their way, but who knows?
So I've heard the depth argument now as well, because they can't argue about winning national titles. What happened when we got deeper into the conferences and Michigan played Alabama in the bowl game? Bam, Michigan won. Get deeper into the conferences and Illinois plays South Carolina. Boom, Illinois wins. The only SEC team that looked good in the postseason really at all was Texas. Got into the Final Four, lost to a Big Ten team, just throwing that out there. And Ole Miss beat Duke in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. And they celebrated by dumping mayonnaise on the head coach. So for me, I get so sick and tired of, if these games played, this team would get killed. And then we do get some games that are played, and then all of a sudden it's like, they're bowl games. They don't matter as much anymore. Or the players were sitting out or whatever. Well, Michigan was the team with all the players sitting out and all the guys injured, not Alabama. I get so sick and tired of this phrase, the eye test tells me I don't want to hear opinions. I do want to hear opinions, but I want to see things actually determined by what happens on the field. Because at the end of the day, we can say, oh, this team will beat that team, and this team will beat this team, and this conference is this, and this conference is that. Why don't we just play the games out on the field, which is one of the major reasons I like the 14 team. Creates a little bit more emphasis on the regular season, the conference championship games, Big Ten and SEC, than the 16-team playoff. And you either qualify by being 1 or 2 in the Big Ten SEC, then you make the SEC Big Ten championship game, so you're automatically in. Now you'd be fighting for a first-round bye or not. But then 3, 4, 5, and 6 in those conferences, and 1 through 4 in the ACC Big 12, you are either in the playoff because you won or because you lost. And the other thing is, you can be top teams in the country, like middle to late November, and you're not guaranteed anything. So what if Nebraska is 9-1 mid-November? Probably a top 10, top 5 team. If you're doing the 5-11 model, as much, maybe Nebraska is a terrible example, okay, because we would love this scenario as Nebraska fans. So I'm going to take Nebraska out of it. Let's say Colorado, okay? Colorado's 9-1. They're, let's say, the 8th ranked team in the country. They know that they can lose at least one game and still get into a 16-team playoff, probably as 10-2. They're probably, or whatever. But if you're in the automatic qualifier model, you can be a top 5 SEC team. You can be a top 5 Big Ten team. But if you get 2 to 3 losses and you're not in that Big Ten SEC championship game, you're not guaranteed anything because you have to play in that play-in game and you might be out before the playoffs ever start. Does that make sense? Whereas if you're going by rankings, if you're an SEC Big Ten team, you can lose 3 games, you're still going to get in. And so it devalues the regular season. Does that kind of make sense? I know I jumped all over the place from Nebraska to Colorado and whatever, but that kind of makes sense.
It does. It's just there's so much out there for the format. Like you're saying, like play-in games with these conferences are talking about having the 3 play the 6 in conference standings and stuff like that, rather than just the championship game. Is just another idea that's floated out there that I know you like, but it's just, there's so much, there's so many different ways to determine a champion and determine who makes these playoffs. Again, we fight so hard to find the right or the best model, but no matter what model you do is going to leave some people unhappy.
Oh, you're never going to make everyone happy. And there is no perfect model. You just have to go with the one that you believe is best. And that's the one I'm kind of arguing for, is the one that's going to emphasize the regular season, winning games on the field, and taking things out of the opinions of taking the power away from people's opinions and putting the power into what happens on the field. All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, we'll be joined by Husker legend Jordan Westerkamp.
I want to ride. Do you want to ride? June is officially riding month at Rod's Power Sports, Nebraska's largest volume Honda Power Sports dealership. Come in now and take advantage of huge savings and a great inventory selection during Rod's I Want to Ride celebration days all month long. Simply schedule a qualified demo ride on one of their new Honda motorcycles, ATVs, scooters, or side-by-sides, or purchase a new or used vehicle, and you get a free custom I Want to Ride t-shirt. Plus, all month long, they have 10% discounts on all wearables, parts, accessories, and oil change kits when purchased with a new or used Honda. Free refreshments served each Saturday morning in June. Just show up and say, I want to ride, and they'll fix you up with some free stuff and help you pick out that new ride. Come ride with Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln or online at rodspowersports.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda Power Sports vehicles are for riders 16 years and older. Honda recommends that all ATV riders take a training course.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
In dealing with the high interest rates, it's very important that you get as much bang for the buck. And that's what our Remington Homes is all about.
Bob Benish of Aspen Builders, talking about Remington Homes, which makes the home building process easier and more affordable.
People really enjoy being able to go to our website, which is remingtonlincoln.com, pick a plan, pick a price point, go through and build it yourself. You have a lot of options, whether you want granite, whether you want painted trim or other upgrades. Those are all options with our Remington Homes. People do not want to be married to their house payment. They want to get a nice house with nice finishes in a great area for an affordable price. And that's what Remington Homes are all about.
Home building is easier with a Remington home from Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at remingtonlincoln.com. remingtonlincoln.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sauterheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
RC's Boxing presents this Saturday at the Complex amateur fights with a little bare-knuckle bite. Some of Nebraska's best amateur boxing, along with a professional bare-knuckle bout between Jack Lawless Frericks and Jake Palmer, and a kickboxing bout between Demorio Dennis and Eric Murray Jr. Go get your tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com, where you can live stream this event as well. Doors open at 6 p.m. and first bout is at 7 p.m. this Saturday at the Complex at 1555 Yolanda Avenue.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and the hail sale has been a huge success, but is winding down. We still though have several units with huge discounts. Plus, we have brand new Sierras, $14,000 off list, or starting at $37,105, or 0.9% APR on select new models. Yes, you heard right. $14,000 off or 0.9% APR on new Sierras starting at $37,105. So please check us out at cobblecars.com. All deals with roof credit, stock number G289358.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone and Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln with more exciting news for area car buyers.
Charlie, it's just announced that Honda of Lincoln has won 3 of the Lincoln Journal-Star's Lincoln Choice Awards. Best new car dealer, best auto repair, and best place to get your oil changed.
Wow, that's great, Andy. Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for best pre-owned dealer and best tire dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say it's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
I tried to hide my cigarette smoking. Then I was rushed into emergency surgery to repair the damage smoking did to my heart. It shocked everyone because they thought I was healthy, yet because I smoked, I had a severe heart condition that nearly killed me. My tip is, you may be able to hide your smoking from the world, but you can't hide from the damage smoking does to your body.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is the Adam Carricker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carricker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Full disclosure, we would have 3 minutes to talk to Jordan, so I picked up the phone, called him. He will join us tomorrow at 12:30, so we can get a full 10 to 15-minute interview with that former Husker legend. By the way, one of the nicest guys ever. So tune in tomorrow to hear a full interview with Jordan Westerkamp at 12:30. All right, couple of things. Number one, Sophie Cunningham, Adrian Peterson. Who would you take in a fight? She's a black belt, by the way.
Okay.
She's a black belt. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
She ain't scared. Who would you take? It's a loaded question. It's 100% a loaded question.
No comment, maybe. How about that?
No comments. I'm not
I don't
answering
want to
anything.
take Adrian Peterson.
I backed Jake into a corner right there. Hey, the WNBA is entertaining. It's something to tune in and watch. I know there's all sorts of polarizing opinions on it. She gained 500,000 followers since that game the other night on her social media platforms. All right, the NBA playoffs, Game 6. Well, not the playoffs, the finals. Pacers host the Thunder tonight. Thunder's up 3-2. Who you got and why, Jake?
Well, Halliburton obviously was going to give it a go, but he's injured. This would be, like a Hollywood script if Indiana is able to overcome this and ultimately win the series. This is not Hollywood. This is real life. I got OKC.
So he's going to do everything he can to play. We probably won't know up until game time. You know what? Screw it. I'm taking Indiana. They're going to pull it out. It's a movie script. Just like SHEDEUR is going to have a movie about his life one day. I'm going with Indiana. Mostly because I want a Game 7, and I don't mind if I'm wrong, but I'm taking Indiana. Bring on Game 7. Go, Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the ball.
Now's the best time to lock in early order savings on a new John Deere planter from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Plant for success with the latest technology, including Exact Emerge high-speed planters that help you cover more acres with greater precision and productivity.